Hey, what's up? This is your girl, Taylor Wilde. Welcome back to Wilde On, Season 3, the podcast where you get the insider's view of the weird, wonderful, wild world of wrestling. On Wednesdays. Today's guest is a fellow Torontonian by way of Brampton, now living in Liverpool, England. Ladies and gentlemen, my girl, Aurora. You have such an interesting story. Where were you born?
I was born in Toronto. So I was there for, I feel like, the first 10 years of my life, and then my parents were like, let's move to the suburbs like everyone else does. So we found ourselves in Brampton. Nothing wrong with Brampton. It's just Brampton. Close enough to Toronto that it's, you know, exciting enough. But yeah, a little Canadian. But my parents are both Portuguese, so.
Okay, Portuguese. And then you're currently in London or
I'm currently England? In Liverpool. Yeah.
Liverpool!
Yes. So that's my partner's football team, and when we're like, hey, we're moving to the UK, it was like a no-brainer that it's like, let's go to Liverpool. And it's actually I was a very naive individual when it comes to, when I thought of the UK, I thought of London and just, stereotypical, touristy things. And then I got to Liverpool, and I'm like, this is a whole nother world. I love it.
You're in the north, girl. It is different.
Oh, it's a good time. I remember the first time I heard a Scouse accent, I just didn't expect it. And I was like, what? This is amazing. Didn't know what he had asked for, but, because I was working an event. And
so
he said something real fast, and I just smile and nod.
So how long have you been in Liverpool now?
This is going to be 2 years in November.
Wow.
Yeah, so we got the whole COVID experience, but I love it here.
Do you?
I mean, besides the rain.
Yeah.
But it's better than snow. I don't like snow.
Okay.
So, fair trade.
I lived in Brighton, which was, I guess, an hour and a half south of London for a year. And same thing. I had a partner who was from Brighton. And I thought I was going to love it. I thought it was going to be, all music and fashion. But, oh, my God, the rain killed me. It is beyond seasonal depression. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'd rather do snow and freeze my ass off than rain every single day.
See, at least, so Liverpool doesn't, I feel like the rain isn't too bad, except for once you, hit smack dab of winter, it's the sun doesn't come up until, 9:30 a.m., and it's gone by 3 p.m., and it's wet and cold, and, we get a lot of the coastal winds. And I'm a 5'0" tiny individual. I walk on a 45-degree angle to, avoid blowing over. I've only fallen over once because of the wind. Physically fallen on, all fours in the middle of the road, just, trying not to blow away. It was good. It was a funny time.
It's really great resistance training you have.
Absolutely. How do you train for wrestling? Just, I try not to blow away every now and again.
Just walking. That's all I need to do. I walk against the wind. It's a full body workout, right? Engage your core.
Don't underestimate it.
No, not at all. Okay, so you're born in Toronto. You grew up in Brampton. Now you live in Liverpool. Where the hell did wrestling come from?
So I had always watched wrestling growing up to the point that I still remember being super little, and there was moments in which there was lingerie fashion shows in wrestling, and my parents would just yell from the other room close your eyes. And I'd be like, I am, as I'm sitting there just completely watching, this is cool. What are you talking about? I thought I was going to be, I used to dress up as Jeff Hardy and Lita. I would just alternate. I would do, half and half. And I just always loved it. I was the only kid, in my family that was a girl that was into it, but all of my boy cousins were. So I would just sneak away from the girl theatrics and scramble over to watch wrestling. And I always said I was going to be a wrestler, and just everyone thought I would outgrow it.
Yep.
And then I was in my business class in the 12th grade. And I was like, okay, well, I had already had a plan that I was going to start wrestling training the minute I graduate university. How can I fast track this? Santino had just opened his gym at this time, and he was having, he opened in the September, I believe, and then I think I went in the October or November.
Okay, so you trained at Battle Arts.
Yes, but he didn't let me wrestle right away. He said, get some practical skills, so he shooed me over to learn some kickboxing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how long did you do kickboxing for?
About a year and a half with Nichelle Laus, which is really cool because she's really cool, and she became my gym mom. And I had absolutely no athletic abilities prior to that, so I mean, hindsight, that was probably the best thing I could have done.
Body awareness.
Yeah. I did not know I was just a nice little, my parents are real old school Portuguese, so they were like, go to school, come home, learn some chores, do some girl stuff, it'll be all right. So organized sports activities, learning what my hands and my feet should be doing at the same time, not a thing I had.
Interesting. Oh, that's so interesting. So, and for those people who don't know traditional Portuguese, learning girl stuff, that's learning how to clean, learning how to cook, and I'm sure tending to your garden.
If I don't have cleaning supplies, I will still find a way to scrub the floor. All will be fine. I am a domestic being. But they were also super supportive in the fact that, I was like, oh, by the way, I'm not going to be a housewife. They're like, yeah, no, that's good. Go get an education. Sure, wrestle. I'll sit there. My mom sits in, front row with her eyes, she's, crying because she's a wrestler's dream. Every single thing is real, the most real it could possibly be to her.
She's your mom.
Yeah, but I love it. She's great. And she's 4'10", so it's really funny.
And how tall are you? Are you legit 5 foot?
5'0". That's literally all I have.
5'0". That's adorable. Okay. So how long did you train with Santino before you had your first actual professional match?
So I was there when there was the Battle Arts style matches. So my first 3 matches were not, I feel like, what most would consider a pro wrestling match. So I had only technically had submission training at that point. So I had been training a month, and I had my first submission-style match
Interesting.
At the end of that month. So when people are like, oh, how long have you been wrestling? I'm always like, well, you see, I didn't learn how to run the ropes for a while or take a bump. So it's to explain Battle Art style, it's very much like catch wrestling.
Okay.
So it's very much grounded, and they're all the same components of the match are still there, just minus, cool crossbody from the top and all the fun fancy stuff. So it's just ground fancy stuff. So it was still a wrestling match. But I had only been training for maybe a month or 2 before getting thrown into the world.
And where was your first indie show at Battle Arts?
Yeah. So I had only done Battle Arts shows for a while because I was still going to school at Brock in St. Catharines. So I would come home for the summer months, train at Battle Arts, and just have my fun little summers. And then I'd go back to school. So I stayed within Battle Arts. And then I think it was only about 2018 maybe that I had my first match outside of Battle Arts. Yeah, so that was fun. But it was also very interesting because I was still working with people that I had been training with at Battle Arts.
Okay.
So it was just a different setting with a few different faces.
And I feel like that is the reality for a lot of Canadian professional wrestlers.
Yes.
I trained with this woman, Tiana Ringer, and we wrestled each other for probably 2 years straight. And there wasn't really any other females. This is going back to 2004. There was other females, just not that many, and especially not within Canada. And it's always risky when you travel across the border. And then when you do start crossing the border, you realize, well, at that time anyways, there weren't that many women. So now I'm always in awe. There are so many females in the game now. And so here you are, you've graduated from Brock. What did you get your degree in, by the way?
Business communications.
Business communications, okay. And you're now in Liverpool. What is the professional wrestling culture in Liverpool like?
Oh my goodness. So because of like all of the bookings I had lined up pre-COVID all got canceled because of that. So I had only made my like UK debut in June of this year. And
wow.
I've already wrestled more shows than I probably would have arguably for like at least 6 months like in Canada pre-existing.
Wow.
And I've wrestled with more different girls. Like I've met more different girls, but I've wrestled more women here than I can say that I did in Canada in the years that I was there. Like that's
amazing.
And there's multiple. The coolest thing for me is like almost every show has multiple women's matches.
Okay.
And there's more than 2 women on like every show.
That is unheard of in my time.
Which is like the first time my first show there was 6 women booked on one show. I was like, what?
That's crazy.
Wow. Like, I had never seen that besides being on like an all women's show. Like that many women in one space. And I was like, what?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is your partner a pro wrestler as well?
Yes, so he wrestles for NXT UK.
Okay, that's wonderful.
So he's doing some cool stuff.
Now, is that what brought you out there originally? Yeah,
so we were both on the same Canada tryout, but he's actually like born in the UK and he's Australian. He's cool. He's super world traveled. I'm like, I'm from Brampton and moved to Liverpool. But
that's traveled.
Right, I'd like to say. I was like, I went all the way from Brampton to Liverpool, so.
Okay, if you've never been to Brampton, don't judge it. It's a cultural experience in itself, so you are cultured.
Right? Like, I've eaten food from more continents than most people probably have, so.
Preach. So don't worry about it. You're good.
But yeah, so that's how we ended up here.
Interesting. Okay, so that's cool. You know, I'm always not amazed, but I'm glad to hear that people are out with their wrestling relationships. Like, it was always like so secretive. Like, you don't shit where you eat. You don't date within wrestling. It's bad for your career. But here's the thing: we were all doing it, but it was like hush, hush. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, that's why musicians date actors. It's all the same world. You understand each other. But I'm glad to hear, like, you're like, yeah, my partner's a pro wrestler. You don't have to tell me his name, but, like, you know what I mean? Like,
he gets enough attention, so I'm going to take all the attention for myself for now.
I like it. You're an independent woman.
Like, he's great and all, but he's done his fair share.
Yeah, exactly. He's had his moment. It's now yours. So how long have you been wrestling total now, then?
So this question, I mean, gets complicated with COVID because I accidentally take those out of my brain. But it's about 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is your ultimate goal, or what is your goal currently?
To be signed to a major company in which I don't have to have another job. I feel like that's not everyone's, but for the large majority, the goal.
Yeah.
To like just to be able to, my main focus always and only be wrestling and not wake up and wonder, you know, am I late for my actual job, or how do I, you know, do I have to take this weekend off, or all those other little stresses.
So what's your side hustle in Liverpool? What are you doing to pay the bills right now?
I work for Lululemon, and besides working for a major wrestling company, I mean, that's probably the coolest job ever.
Yeah, Lululemon's great. I didn't even know they were in Liverpool. That's great.
So I actually work for their guest education center, so I get to work from home, hang out with my puppies all day, save the world one pair of Lululemon pants at a time. It's great. You're
living the best life.
I honestly can't complain. Sipping my little tea in my little British house, it's great.
You're selling it. Like, you're really, really selling the life. I like it. It's better than my experience over there.
And
That's wonderful.
I just like knowing that I don't have to trudge through snow.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
That's fair.
Or drive down to, like, 410. That's exciting.
Oh, God. Any 400 series highway. Like, no thank you. And it was so nice during COVID because people were staying home. But now the world has resumed, and it takes hours to get what would take you 20 minutes. It's Do you drive over there?
No, the other side of the world's world road scares me.
I don't like it.
But it's so easy to get around here that, like, like, their public transportation just makes sense.
Yeah.
So
you mean
like
you mean that it runs consistently and you don't actually need a vehicle? Like you actually can take public transit.
You could just like tap your like you can use contactless payments like on your phone. I was like, what? This is amazing. I mean, yeah.
They've got it figured out there. So what do you want the world, the listeners, to know about you that they might not be able to find online?
Well, that is a great question. I mean, I feel like I've been doing some soul searching with it. I feel like when you look at what is out there on the internet of me, I feel like there is this very much as I'm like a sweet, smiley, a little bit too much of like a airhead every now and again when I speak. Like I ramble a little bit, but in a good way. Like I feel like everything there is very cutesy, and I feel like right now I'm kind of finding myself in a term where like I'm 25. I'm not just the 18-year-old that's just happy to be there. And now I feel like I've established my worth, and I know that I belong here, and it's less of a point of like begging people to see that I belong here, and more of a like me maturing and finding my own space in it and just taking it and claiming it, and it's mine. So I haven't fully revealed that to the internet just yet, but just wait, it's coming. The next few months are going to be really exciting because I have a bunch of new debuts and I have new ideas for gear, new gimmick going, so it'll be exciting.
Good. I love that. I think that's beautiful, and myself, my podcast, we're holding space for you, so I'm so excited that you're coming into whoever Vanessa, whoever Aurora is, and that's really cool and exciting. Oh, I can't wait to see the growth that's going to be happening. Congratulations.
Thanks. I feel like it's been a long time in the company. I feel like I've spent so much time being like, who should I be? Or like, what should I be? Like, what should I wear? Like, does this look good? And then it's like, I just kind of lost when you try so hard to make something that it doesn't end up turning out to even what you thought it would be because it's not what it should be. Good times.
Absolutely. Life is so fucking chaotic. I love it.
Isn't it always?
You never, things can get stressful, but it makes you realize, like, I'm alive. It's great.
I feel like it's always one of those things that, like, when you're in the middle of it, you're like, oh, this is the worst. How am I going to get through it? And then, like, in 3 months, you'll look back and it'll be like one of those self-depreciating jokes that you can just laugh about, you know?
Do you know me? Have we met before? I feel like you really get me. You get me. Okay.
Like, I feel like we're just vibing on the level, you know?
I think so. I think this is a beautiful friendship.
Well, you're not getting
starting right now. Nope, that's it. And that being said, you're very much starting your wrestling career. If you ever have any questions, never hesitate to hit me up. You've got me now for life, girl. So if you ever need another wrestling mom,
you'll see me popping in there.
Okay, good. I'm not going to keep you much longer. I like to end every episode with my 10 tailor-made questions. It's kind of a speed round, but there's no rush for you to answer anything. It's me that's trying to fire off questions. So you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What's a beauty product you cannot live without?
Kat Von D lipsticks. I mean, I know
what
that
is it? Kat Von D lipsticks?
Kat Von D lipsticks. Those are the only thing you put them on. Like, you can finish a match and your entire eye makeup's everywhere. Like, but that lipstick will not leave. It is there. If you don't take it off before you go to bed, it's there when you wake up. And they come in pretty colors.
And the packaging is also very attractive.
Very attractive.
I am a big fan of Kat Von D products, and that was the first thing I bought was one of the lipsticks. Motorhead, there had been no shade like that color. It was, like punk rock and fun, and yeah.
If it's not obnoxiously bright, I probably don't wear it. Like, I like looking a little bit like a clown because I either do no makeup or I go like to my version of all out. I mean, I don't know how to do eye makeup. I have one look, but that's my look. So
it's a good look. It's working.
It works. It's worked. Maybe I'll have to learn like another one, but for now, it's just my Kat Von D. That's it.
Love
Alternate
it. Okay, what's your
colors.
favorite? What's your favorite exercise?
Hip thrusts, because booty building is life.
And you look cool doing it.
Right? It's the only thing that I can, like, I can lift real heavy with it, like, because I can't do impressive amounts of squat. Like I can lift heavy for, like, I don't know, what I think is heavy for me being a tiny human. But hip thrusts, I'm like, no, I can out hip thrust my boyfriend. I'm proud of it, so.
Yeah, that a girl. Okay. What is your biggest pet peeve?
I feel like I have so many pet peeves, it's really hard to pick the main one.
I understand that.
One-uppers. Like, just let people have their moment. You don't have to one-up everything. We'll let you have your turn. Tell us about how much you enjoyed something, but you don't have to be like, I did this. But I did this then.
One-uppers.
That's just my one.
One-uppers, it's such like an overcompensation or like a social quirk. It's like they're not really listening to you. They're listening to you so that they can interject something about themselves.
I think the worst thing about the one-uppers, to make it the worst pet peeve, is like it's never just the one time. You know, if someone's chewing with their mouth open, like eventually they'll stop eating. Like a one-upper's not gonna stop.
That's a really good analogy. I like that. Okay, who is your celebrity crush?
I don't know why I take some of these so seriously. Like, my whole brain is going into it. Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy will always just... Actually, Jack Sparrow. Not Johnny Depp, just Jack Sparrow. Yeah.
I like that.
Something about a pirate, I don't know.
What is your favorite band or artist?
Fall Out Boy and Blink-182.
Oh,
I can't separate the two. They're tied for first place. I have like 3 tied for second, but those two. I'm eclectic. I don't get rid of anything. I just hold on to it all.
That's good. Do you have a secret vice, like drinking a glass of water? A glass of water.
I was like, water.
That's
yes.
silly. It's so dark, right? Can you believe I asked you that on my podcast? Like drinking a glass of wine in the shower. Do you drink water? What a vice.
Honestly, like, after a really, like, I worked in hospitality for a long time. And one of the things that I just hate is, like, when you're just so drained and you just want to have a drink, but you know you have to shower. So I've been one of those individuals that may have drank a can of gin and tonic, pre-mixed, of course, while sitting on the floor of my shower just thinking about my day. It's like, I really need to get, like, a sauna or something. Because I feel like drinking a glass of wine, I mean, you shouldn't do that in a sauna because you'll dehydrate, but why not? If you have a sauna, live your best life. I feel like that seems a bit more like, ooh, classy than sitting on the tub while the shower's going, sipping on your gin and tonic.
There is no judgment in this podcast. I drink wine in the well, I have done. I have drank wine in the shower. But I just think, like, whatever you do to relax should also incorporate a beverage that you enjoy.
And the shower is such a happy place. No one's talking to you. It's just the water. You and the water. All is well. It's warm.
It's a good life.
It's a good life.
What wrestler has the best entrance music?
Ooh. Forever Randy Orton. Ooh, or Edge.
Edge is a good one. That hypes you up.
Yeah. I feel like for a little bit I had forgotten how great Edge's music was until, you know, that Royal Rumble, but I'll have to go with Randy Orton. Randy Orton.
Okay. What is your drink of choice? It doesn't have to be alcoholic.
It's probably going to be alcoholic, but
You do live in England. You live in England, so you have to drink.
I've just discovered pink gin and lemonade. Because I feel like that's not really a thing in Canada. If it is, I missed it. No. I'm sorry, but pink gin is so much better than regular gin.
Interesting.
I don't know what fruit it's supposed to taste like, but it tastes nice. And
it tastes like pink fruit.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's great. I love it. Pink gin, lemonade, highly recommend. Great. Or just a nice cup of tea. Because I'm so British now. Look at me.
You're so British now.
I still drink. I get my mom to send me Tim Hortons orange pekoe tea in the mail, though. So I'm not that British yet.
Little taste of home. What has been your most embarrassing moment in the ring? And I'm talking, like, I don't care if you've botched something. I want to hear about a nip slit, a tampon string.
trying to think. Like, I've definitely had... I feel like... I don't think I've met a women's wrestler that hasn't had a nip slip.
Yeah.
Oh, I had... Okay, so just recently, I was... had a match at Future Shock for the women... to retain my women's championship. And it was a good old time. And then we went to... she grabbed me by the tights and pulled me through the ropes, gonna go for a DDT, and my entire bottoms went all, like... right into the booty. And
oh dear.
So I mean, I was wearing some full coverage underwear that day, thank goodness me, because if there was no underwear, there was nothing to the imagination. Like, these went all the way up somewhere they're not supposed to go, and it's through the rope, so you're literally bent in half. There's yep. worse place, and it's to hard cam. So
as a veteran, that's the one thing I will always say. I don't care how skimpy your outfit is, you have to wear underwear. It is not an option.
Right? I don't know how people don't, because I'm like, oh, like, I had to buy, like, seamless full coverage, because, like, my gear's not very long. Like, it's quite small, but just gotta keep those
something.
Yeah, something. But I didn't even know how bad it was. Like, I felt it. I was like, ooh, this is bad. And then the photographer had posted the picture online, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's my whole derriere. All of it.
Shame on the photographer.
Yeah. He did get a little bit scolded, but it's okay. He took it down right away.
Okay, good. Good.
It was actually my opponent, Lana, that saw it beforehand, Lana Austin. So shout out to her for being the coolest human ever. To see that, call it out, then let me know. And
good sister. Yeah. That's a good sister.
She's a good gal. Love her.
Okay.
She took care
of me.
Last
one. Oh, good. Last one. Okay, finish these lyrics. Where am I? Sorry. I just had the lyrics up and now the anticipation is building.
Woo woo.
Oh, sorry. Okay, ready? One night and one more time.
Thanks for the memories.
Yay! You love singing as much as I do.
I feel like I got real shy for a second. I like looked down. I'm like, oh, there's only one person that can see me. It's fine. Your whole butt's not out. Like, don't know why you act so modest. It's just Fall Out Boy. You've been screaming these songs forever.
Where can our listeners find you on the interwebs?
That would be Aurora Wrestling on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure it's the Aurora Wrestling on Twitter, but that's new, so I might have to check that one. Let's see.
That's okay. You know what? I'm going to list it in the description of this episode.
Sounds good. Yeah, because I had too many identity crises prior, but definitely Aurora Wrestling on Instagram, and that's where all the good stuff is, so.
Thank you so much for making the time for me today.
Thank you. It was lovely to chat.